There was a news piece in there that talked about the threat to a lot of the jobs that are in the sort of low-cost manufacturing and service industry in China today, because the two markets that seem to be competing for that in Asia right now are Vietnam and Thailand. So for those reasons, clearly, if the Chinese are worried about it, there's good reason for it. If you look at Thailand as a market as itself, I mean, these comments are equally applicable to any of the emerging markets around the world, but you're going to see big fluctuations in the cost of construction for building out the space. The quality of the buildings, both in terms of their construction, varies dramatically from one property to the next. Again, I talked about it earlier, the sophistication of ownership, and probably more important, the sophistication of property management in the building. When the HVAC system stops working, how quickly are they going to respond to that? So while it may be the best looking building on the block, and it may be the space that your locals are absolutely desperate to move into, be mindful of the fact, what's the living experience going to be like in that building, and a lot of that's determined by ownership and the property management. And then I'd also say, like all emerging markets, they're highly cyclical, so there's big fluctuations in the types of rents that you're going to pay, and obviously understanding where you are coming into that cycle is going to be important as well. So those would be some very high level things that I would look at and treat very carefully when going into Bangkok.
Okay, thank you for that. Any thoughts on Thailand from either you, Mike or Phil?
Well, I think in general, whether you're going to Thailand or any country, again, it's really important to do your planning up front and really understand, not only what are your entity registration options, but also fully understand what it means. What are you looking at from a salary and benefit standpoint? Is it, what are the average salaries for these people? And then are you looking at salary plus 30%? I mean, you go to places like Brazil, it's salary plus 50%. Mm-hmm. So. And then from there, just understanding what your compliance requirements are to know what you're really getting into before you go.
Thanks for that. I think another point to bring out is just the utility of groups like economic development agencies, chambers of commerce, and others that, when going into a new market, it's worth reaching out just to find out, are there grants or incentives available, and also just to those organizations that, like UKTI as an example, can provide assistance to companies when they go into that market, and probably particularly helpful in emerging markets like Thailand.